2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Test 1, 2, 3. Test, 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 test. Hello. All right, cool. on another beautiful day here in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Another day for the Hyannis Harbocks as they take on the Bourne Braves for the third time in this short Cape Cod Baseball League season. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Harbocks Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Not joined alongside by broadcast partner Jack Heffer at the moment. I'm joined alongside our field reporter Nicole Hansen, who will be joining us for a couple, maybe an inning or two, depending on how long Jack Heffer gets, as he was doing the mascot early on. Nicole, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Glad to be making my radio debut. Very excited to be here.
All right. Well, for Hyannis, we'll see Alex House on the mound here, the man from Florida Atlantic, as he will be facing off the Bourne Braves. Here, we'll give the Bourne Braves starting lineup. Jake Magnum will be leading off here, followed by Connor Wong, David McKinnon, and Justin Yurchek, who is leading the Cape in batting average in the cleanup spot. Willie Young, Connor McVeigh, Luis Alvarado, Jeremy Ehrman, and Garrett Woolforth in the 9 spot here for the Bourne Braves. First pitch, swing and a miss by Magnum. For strike one by House. And then defensively for Hyannis, Chris Hudgens behind the mound. Left to right in the infield will be Jordan Rogers, Ford Proctor, Zach Rutherford, and Cody Henry at first as House. The 0-1 pitch misses outside for a 1-1 count. And left to right in the outfield, Cameron Estee in left, Trey Truitt in center, and Trey Habercorn in right field. House misses that one upstairs as it'll be a 2-1 count.
Hey, Gabe.
And Jack Heffer now joining us here on the broadcast. So how was being the mascot?
Hot. It's the only word that I can use to describe it. But Ozzy is a fantastic mascot and had a lot of fun with the kids out there. There were plenty of pictures being taken.
I'll admit I'm kind of surprised how quickly it took you to get out of that, as that one fouled right near Ron Polk. He gets out of the way of that one and avoids it, and he chirps a little bit at Magnum there, and even goes a little bit at Harvey Shapiro at third base, but 2-2 count.
Oh, Gabe, we know that a baseball would never dare hit Ron Polk. We've seen several times this season.
Slowed Chopper. Proctor fields it cleanly, and a ground ball, and Henry's not able to deal it. And Shapiro is shouting at Magnum to get over to first, or maybe trying to shout him to tell him to go to second.
I think he was shouting to tell him to go to first because it looked like he turned to go to second, and if you have the intent to do that and you're tagged, you're out.
And a strange play there by Ford Proctor, who really got no loft on that ball over to Henry, and he couldn't field the bounce, and it's a immediate error for Ford Proctor. Alex House stares now into Connor Wong. Makes a throw back over and tagging, and setting back safely will be Magnum.
Gabe, I will say that walking in a mascot costume is by far the most difficult part of that job. Those rubber feet. Oh.
You sold it pretty well, though, I'll have to admit, as that one gets inside, as moving away is Wong for ball one.
Gabe, I take that as the highest compliment that I'm going to get. That's very nice of you.
I thought you were going to fight the other mascot.
Yeah. Hey, I'm the new mascot, right?
I mean, you don't know if he's new or not. You don't know the guy under that one.
I don't know, yeah.
He could have been new, too. House stares in the 1-0, faking and popping up into the air. Estee moving in along with Proctor. Proctor calls him off and makes the first out.
Good work from Proctor. It looked like he didn't have the initial read on the fly ball as fly ball was over his right shoulder, and he went straight back to his left, but it was hung up long enough for him to come down, adjust himself, adjust position, and make the play. And now David McKinnon at the dish for Bourne.
McKinnon will step in out of Hartford. 296 so far for him batting on the Cape. Throw back over and sliding back safely, though, will be Magnum.
Yeah, and McKinnon had an absolutely dominant season his junior year at Hartford. Hit .392.
Throw back over once again, this time not as hard there for Magnum, sliding back safely. House stares in, still waiting for the first pitch is McKinnon. He takes that breaking pitch down low for strike one.
And it's interesting to see how McKinnon last year playing for Wareham, and usually you see going to the same Cape League team if you're going to come back up, and Tristan Hildebrandt for Hyannis, obviously, only returning player.
The 0-1 runner goes. Hudgens throws over, slide, caught, made, and the out is delivered there. Hudgens slightly overthrows Rutherford, but makes the play at second.
Yeah, that was an absolute dime to second base. What a throw by Hudgens. He didn't miss a beat on it either. And just guns down a good runner, and Magnum makes up for the error from Proctor. And now 2 outs here in the top half of the first inning.
A nice reach there by Rutherford, playing second today. That one misses upstairs to McKinnon for a 1-1 count.
We saw both Proctor and Rutherford make some pretty outstanding plays yesterday. Obviously, Proctor at second.
The 1-1, swing and a miss by McKinnon, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Grounder up the hole, and Proctor backhands it, makes a fantastic throw onto first base. And interesting to see Cody Henry returning to first as they sit Stadjahar after a game stint at first base. Made a nice diving play, but also was a little inconsistent.
That one is line in right into the glove of Rutherford. Recovers, fires over to Henry, and gets the final out. 1 error for the Harbrox, but no damage done by it as we head to the bottom of the first inning here from McKeon Park in a scoreless game. The Bourne Braves and the Hyannis Harbrox in the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Bottom half of the first inning, and we get the first look at Joshua Sapiro, who had a fantastic outing in his first start of the year in the Cape Cod League against Katuitt. 6 strong innings, no earned runs, Cage 6 as well. As Trey Truitt fouls the first one back and gave a little bit of a hectic day here at McKeon Park as we're going to switch up a little bit in the first inning there, our plan, but Truitt smacks this one into dead center field. Back goes Mangum, and he's not going to get there. Truitt rounds first. He's going to be in second. Is he going to try for 3? Yes, he is. No, he's not. He's going to hold right at short, and he's going to slide back safely as a good throw from Mangum out of center field, and Trey Truitt with a leadoff double here in the bottom half of the first.
Yeah, and Truitt, Andrew Gassman was kind of seeing what was going to give there, and Magnum pretty much in the middle of the outfield there in center field, and wasn't expecting that from Truitt. I mean, we saw yesterday he had a hit to left field that was probably a foot away from being a home run, and I was talking to him in the dugout. He thought that one was gone. He was still running around the base fast, but he said, I thought that one was out of here, and he was pretty darn close to doing it.
Well, Trey Truitt absolutely blasts the fastball from Joshua Shapiro into dead center field, way over the head of Mangum. And you're right, Mangum was playing right in the middle of center field there. Didn't really give Trey Truitt any respect, and you love as a player when you smack a ball right over an outfielder's head. Well, here's Ford Proctor. Proctor has had a fantastic start to the Cape season, hitting .333 in 15 at-bats with 2 RBIs as Shapiro comes set as he works from the stretch. He'll step off as Truitt dancing around at second.
But I know we talk about a little bit of Truitt. He's definitely found his spot there in the leadoff position for Hyannis.
Here's the pitch. It's low in the dirt. Good block from Wolford. And Truitt has been outstanding in that leadoff spot. 4 straight games now. 4 straight games with a hit as well for Trey Truitt. Shapiro gets the sign. He comes set. Kicks and delivers. This one is bounced way before the plate. And Shapiro already with a little bit of control issues here in the early goings.
Yeah, and right now, Wolforth is doing a nice job behind the plate, really stopping these. Because really, when you talk about it, last game against Katuitt, the Hyannis was able to sneak past with a win. They really won it with some pass balls. That's how they scored a couple of their runs there. And if that didn't happen, who knows where they would have been.
Only 3 RBIs last night. 2 of those belonging to Zach Rutherford, who's on deck. As that one misses low, the count moves to 3-0. Proctor with 2 walks on the season. And working a walk here, a 3-0 count from Shapiro, who's nowhere near the zone right now.
Yeah, I mean, you can see yesterday with Justin Hooper of Katuitt, Hyannis was trying to go at him early and wasn't allowing him to kind of work on the mound.
3-0 is in. Ooh, just caught the inside corner. As Proctor, like we thought that was ball 4, but count moves to 3-1.
Yeah, and Proctor lucky he didn't throw the bat, or else umpires always have that mentality to know when you kind of walk away and you think you're just going to call that final ball.
3-1's inside. It's chopped to first. The play is going to be at third as Truitt was off and running, and they're going to throw him out. Great play from the first baseman in McKinnon to recognize Trey Truitt getting not the best jump off to second, and he fires and get the lead runner at third for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, that's a nice acknowledgement there by. It was a nice acknowledgement to be able to do that there by McKinnon and do what he had to. He saw Truitt go, and guess they just didn't think he was going to try to make that play, try to make a play over at first. But Proctor, now you think about it, and probably had to swing at that next pitch because he knew it was probably going to come in there and it was going to be called a strike.
Well, here's Zach Rutherford as he ropes this first pitch out into left field. A base hit for Rutherford, and that makes the play by McKinnon all the more important as that one definitely would have scored Trey Truitt. And usually when you're a coach and your left-handed hitter hits to the right side with a runner on second and less than 2 outs, you're very happy with the result, but just a good defensive heads-up play as it hopped into McKinnon's gloves quickly.
Yeah, and now with Jordan Rogers coming up here, he's got some ability to get to the ball and play as well. With Proctor over at second, if it's deep enough, he probably has a chance to score.
1 out here in the bottom of the first, 0-0 scoreline as Shapiro is going to lose this one. It looks like it's going to be a wild pitch as Wolforth just could not handle that one in the dirt. He's had to handle a plethora of balls that have bounced way before home plate, and that one just got away from him.
Yeah, that one completely all the way towards near the Hyannis dugout. And now, not even Rogers, of course he wants a hit, but at this point, fly ball out somewhere far can score the first run.
And Gabe, it seems like early on in the season, things just weren't going Hyannis' way. Wild pitches like that, just crazy unforced error plays. And right now it seems like they're benefiting from a lot of these. As the 1-0 pitch is in there for strike 1.
Yeah, and I think we always talked about that was the biggest thing for Hyannis. A lot of stuff wasn't going their way offensively and defensively, and you can see them kind of finally slowly at least turn slightly in their favor.
Shapiro now, here's the 1-1. on the inside corner. It gets away. Coming home is Proctor. He's going to slide in there safely. So 2 wild pitches from Shapiro that advanced Proctor 2 bases. One of those bringing him home. It's a 1-0 lead for Hyannis.
But I will admit, that was a nice play by Shapiro. He made that one close there, diving in. And unfortunately, he kind of looked like he might have slipped, in fact, when he came in on the dirt, so he wasn't able to make the tag on Proctor. Proctor, I think, for a second, looked like he kind of stopped midway down third base as well. But he was able to make that first run score, and Hyannis getting lucky here with some of these pass balls. And just to make a change, it looks like they aren't going to give that error to Proctor. They're going to give that the hit in that first inning.
Strike 2 falls for Rogers with a runner on third now and 1 out. 1-0 lead here for the Harbor Hawks after the wild pitch from Shapiro. And Wolfworth's trying to get on the same page. 2-2 is just outside as Rogers thought about it.
Yeah, now this makes it even easier for Rogers. Now you got Rutherford over at third. So still doesn't even need an exact hit. Just kind of big fly ball.
Full count pitch. Swung on, lined into left center field, and that's going to be extra bases for Rogers. Coming home to score is Rutherford. Cruising into second is Rogers, and he won't try for third. It's the second double for a Harbor Hawk, and another RBI. It's a 2-0 lead here at McKeon Park early on.
And look, this is what you love to see from Hyannis so far. I mean, they're seeing the ball so much better. I mean, not that they really haven't seen the ball pretty well before, but they've just found ways to have better contact. They found ways to get guys in position to score. I mean, some of that is luck. Some of that has been the pass balls. But in reality, you like to see that they have not lost it from one game. That's the one thing you feared after the Wareham game, that they kind of lost a little bit, Ekatuit, but you can see it's kind of sticking with them now.
3 hits in the inning. And now Carl Stadjahar will take the play with runners in scoring position. And Rogers and Shapiro fakes it back to second.
And
Bourne has really struggled as of recent. 2 straight losses. And really, it's been the pitching for Bourne, but the hitting hasn't been there either. Only 3 runs in the last 2 games. First pitch of the at-bat is a strike on the outside corner.
Yeah, and that's what really hurts them. When you look at their stats compared to in the league, that's where they've been dominant at, is hitting with. I mean, they still have the best batting average, but when it comes to pitching, they're pretty middle of the line with everything. And when your hitting doesn't come through, your pitching has to step up, which it really hasn't.
Stadjahar sends this one to dead center field. Mangum is under it, and tagging from second is Rogers. The throw is not going to be in time. So Stadjahar moves Rogers over to third, and now with 2 outs, it will be Cody Henry trying to knock one more in here in the bottom half of the first inning.
And look, for Stadjahar, while he hasn't been getting the hits that he probably has wanted, he's put a lot of power on this ball, and he's not doing it without showing much effort at it. I mean, that one, he seemed like he halfway swung through it there, and it went to basically the middle of center field. And you've seen that a couple times to right field. He's golf swinging a little bit, and shows he's had a lot of power, just hasn't made the plays to get any kind of hits.
First offering is swung on, foul bat. That one hit the net, and it's going to drop right in front of Alvarado. So it's an RBI single with 2 outs. But boy, that shattered and flew into the back screen. Luckily, that didn't hit anybody on the lower end or get into the field of play. I've never seen a bat shatter backwards that far before.
Yeah, I mean, Cameron Estes kind of had to get out of the way as it was flying towards him. And Cody Henry, though, a nice little shot there and drops in, and he gets him an RBI.
Cody Henry has been hitting well as of late. He had that RBI double against Wareham in their first win of the season. That proved to be instrumental as they won 5-4. Put those last 2 runs on the board for Hyannis. Cameron Estes smokes this one into right field. Alvarado going back at the track. A leaping catch for Alvarado. The 3rd out of the inning. And a good defensive play out in right field saves another run, or maybe even 2, from crossing the plate for Hyannis. But they tack on 3 here in the bottom half of the 3rd on 4 hits against Joshua Shapiro. We'll head to the top of the second inning. Hyannis leading 3-0 on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Justin Yurchek to lead things off against Alex House in the top half of the second. Leader in batting average on the Cape this season, hitting .480. He's got 12 hits and 25 at-bats. Did not play last night, but Yurchek with virtually an 8-game hitting streak going. As House pumps in a fastball for a strike.
And when you talk about for Hyannis pitching, even though they were kind of shaky in the beginning, and while now they've greatly improved, you can see when it comes to the big guys, I mean, you saw yesterday with Jaron Kendall especially.
Strike on the outside corner, moves to 0-2.
Well, for the most part, they made him pretty silent in that game when he was supposed to be the big bat to help Katuitt.
The 0-2 offering from House is grounded up the middle. Proctor comes over on the run throw, and he's going to get Yurchek by a step for out number one.
That was a nice job by Proctor. You could see when he got in his glove, he was trying to make the transition, and he seemed like he kind of lost it there for a second. But got it back. Henry reached out, and they made that first out.
And, you know, that's not necessarily a routine play as well. I mean, Proctor, that makes it look easy as he scoops on the short hop and then takes it on the run. But that's a very difficult play for a shortstop to come in on and read that hop. Strike one to Willie Vaughn as we talk about the lack of offense for Bourne. This guy's been the only one producing. Has all 3 RBIs in the last 2 games as he smacks this one through the hole into left field. Willie on just carrying Bourne right now, the offense at least.
Yeah, and Jan might have a little bit of help now as Jan, a teammate at UConn, also one of his teammates who's graduated recently, Bobby Melly, a player here for Hyannis for a while. We were told by one of our trainers, Sarah, who works for UConn, that he came and gave him his bat that he used to always use up here from when he played in the Cape League. So
that's pretty cool. House, strike one on the outside corner to Connor McVeigh. McVeigh fifth in the league in batting average at .405. And a second with 15 hits as House throws over to first base, and that's a really cool connection coming from UConn and meaningful to a younger player that's entering their first year on the Cape as Jan smokes this one, Shimmy McVeigh, into the Harbor Hawks dugout.
Yeah, and so far from House, you've seen him a couple of times try to make that tag over at first, and he and Henry have a pretty good communication. He's firing on over there to Henry, making a lot of these sliding tags a little bit closer than players probably would like.
Well, here's the 0-2 pitch. Swung on. It's Rutherford. Can't get it. Goes into center field. Truitt comes up with it. He'll hold Jan at second, but a base knock for Connor McVeigh to put 2 on with 1 out in the top of the second inning.
And Rutherford looks like he was pretty close, actually, to making that play. He kind of leaned back a little bit. Might have been the slight hesitation that he had, but from our point of view, it looked like he might have been a couple of inches off from even probably just trying to touch it at least.
And I don't even think he saw it because his head was turning. He knew the direction of where the ball was going, but he kind of made a blind leap there and came about an inch or two from making that catch. House kicks and delivers the curveball on the inside corner for strike one to Luis Alvarado, who made that great play in right field to end the bottom of the first inning. Shapiro was getting knocked around a little bit.
Yeah, and you would look back to Alvarado in that play, possibly, depending on how this game turns and if that makes a difference.
Big swing and a miss. Another good curveball from Alex House.
Yeah, that one looked like it kind of stopped in midair and decided to drop right as it hit the play and just fooled Alvarado.
Curveball at 74 miles an hour for House. His fastball topping 91. Here's the 0-2. Another curveball. This one is chopped to third. Rogers throws on to second, throws on to first, and they're not going to get him. Alvarado with some speed as he breaks up the double play. Now runners on the corners for Bourne with 2 outs. And coming to the dish, Jeremy Ehrman.
The shortstop from Missouri State, number 7, Jeremy Ehrman.
Talented freshman out of Missouri. Number 3 overall prospect in the state by Prep Baseball Report. Was a Gatorade Player of the Year as a senior in high school as he hit .542. First delivery way inside, and they're going to say it brushed him. First pitch just knocks Jeremy Ehrman, and now the bases are loaded as Jordan Rogers is going to come over, dust off the mound for Alex House and say a few words. And Gabe, you and I talked a little bit about this. Jordan Rogers, the junior out of Tennessee, he's really the guy out there who's picking this team up, talking all the time, and just positive energy coming from the third baseman at Tennessee.
Yeah, I think it really helps for him to be able to come in and really solidify that spot immediately at third base. And he came in there one game, and he's really never missed one since he's been in there, and always at third.
First pitch is smacked into right. That will get down for a base hit. Rounding third is Alvarado. The play at the plate will not be in time as 2 runs cross. Garrett Wolfer, the catcher, who had 2 pass balls in the last inning, gets those 2 runs back for Bourne. It's a 3-2 lead for Hyannis here in the top half of the second.
Yeah, and this is what the side of Bourne that you hoped Hyannis was still not going to see today, but they're starting to see the ball pretty well now, even after that first inning here from House, and you wonder really what changed in that past inning that has made them see the ball a lot better.
2-out knock for Garrett Wolfer to bring up the top of the lineup, and Jake Mangum with runners on the corners. As Bourne gets 2 back, trying to get that third on the outside corner, misses. And then, Gabe, you talked about Bourne, the offense, and it seems after going down 3-0, they're responding here in the top half of the inning as House, the double move.
Yeah, and this has always been Bourne's mentality, even from last year. And even if there's not that many players, they've been known to never really been out of any games that they've been in, especially against Hyannis. Bourne was really the bane for Hyannis last year, as Hyannis was only able to win one of those games in the regular season, but ended up taking both games in the postseason play.
Swing and a miss from Magnum for strike one. Count moves to 2-1. And Gabe, Bourne has been the bane of Hyannis' existence early on in the season.
Yeah, and I mean, it can happen when you play him 3 times early on in the season.
2 extra inning wins for Bourne already as they smack this one foul out of play. Count moves to 2-2 as Alex House tries to work himself out of a jam.
But talking with the Bourne broadcasters, they haven't seen some of the guys in their own division. They haven't seen really Falmouth or Wareham as much. Well, they've seen us and Katuitt a couple of times, but they haven't seen the guys that are trying to chase them in this division.
2-2 is chopped foul, first base side.
And Bourne, of course, leading that division as of right now, but Wareham and Falmouth not too far behind them.
Falmouth with Arguably them and Harwich, the best pitching in the league so far. Been dominating early on, but obviously that can change as the season progresses. House comes set, 2 outs with 2 on, runners on the corners. Here's the pitch on the outside corner, misses. Mangum works a full count here with 2 outs.
Yeah, and look now, Bourne is now kind of seeing a little bit here of House and seeing what he's dealing. And before, he was hitting most of his spots right now, but places he's been hitting before, Bourne has been able to swing and make some contact.
Payoff pitch as House, another double move, and Wolfer had a tough time getting back to first there.
Yeah, he tripped over there, and lucky for him, Henry was standing behind him, but still took a little pause there to make sure.
Well, here's the full count pitch. Runner goes. It's fouled off. Good off speed by House.
Yeah, and you wonder now what House is going to deal with as he's got into a full count. And a lot of these guys have swung early on him, but what kind of pitch he'll use to kind of finish Magnum and avoid any more damage.
House stares in, comes set. We'll do it again. The full count, it's fouled off again. Good at bat here by Jake Mangum, spoiling 2 good curveballs from House on the outside half.
And this is another thing that Bourne does really well. They really fight off a lot of pitches. They try to make the pitcher work as much as they can. And part of it is what leads to them doing so well with hitting. They get to see a lot of pitches and see what the pitcher's going to give to them.
Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Alex House gets a big strikeout here in the top half of the second, but he concedes 2 runs to Bourne as they cut the lead to 3-2. Hyannis still leading. We'll head to the bottom half of the inning here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Resurgence to lead things off for the Harbor Hawks. 3-2 lead for Hyannis in the bottom half of the second inning. As we'll get a second look here at Josh Shapiro, who got knocked around a little bit in the bottom half of the first. First pitch on the outside corner misses. 4 hits for Hyannis last inning. As this one misses on the outside corner. And Gabe, a lot going on tonight. We see the booth to our right, packed with lots of very important people. As this one misses for ball 3, and Shapiro with 3 straight balls. Wind picking up here at McKeon Park as it's a 4-pitch walk, a leadoff walk to Chris Hudgens, and Shapiro appearing to have the same struggles as he did last inning.
Yeah, and this doesn't seem to be looking as much of a pitcher's battle right now between Shapiro and House. House having a little bit of struggles in that previous inning as well. So Hyannis can just kind of go back to their ways here that they did in the first and see that he doesn't have great control. So really just sit back and wait till he tries to throw something and you like to hit it.
Craig Habercorn, the hitter for Hyannis, as Shapiro will check first. Hudgens with a stolen base last night.
I don't think he's going to go in a lefty, though.
No. First pitch is in there. We've seen Habercorn lay down several sacrifice bunts as the 9-hitter in the lineup. Has struggled to get on base as of late, but has done a nice job on the sacrifice bunts as he fouls this one into just out of the reach of Willie Yon. Stayed in play. That one looked like it was going to get out of the park, but Yon just an inch or two away from it.
Yeah, and his catcher, Wolforth, was kind of calling out. He was by the fence and might have looked down for a quick second to see how close he was and didn't realize the ball was going to land right there in front of him, so he kind of ran to the fence a little bit just to kind of slow down himself.
The 0-2 pitch from Shapiro. Curveball swung on and chopped foul.
Yeah, Habercorn, like you mentioned, a couple of bunts yesterday. Both times he went up there, really, he immediately showed it. But there are times where you just kind of try and turn things around here and get some nice swings in.
We'll do it again. The 0-2. Swing and a miss for Craig Habercorn. 10th strikeout on the year for Habercorn. And they'll send it to the top of the lineup in Trey Truitt with one down here in the bottom half of the second inning.
Yeah, and for Habercorn going down, swung at it outside. But now you get back to the top of the lineup here for Hyannis, the lineup that did all the damage early on, and looking to do the same thing here against Shapiro in their second look at him.
Notice where the center fielder in Magnum is. Right where Truitt hit that double over his head as it's a first pitch strike, and Truitt doesn't like it.
Yeah, but he moves over, but it leaves a huge gap out there in right center field. And Truitt really trying to aim there, even though that is where he likes to kind of move that ball into the outfield.
Truitt with no problem hitting to the right side as a curveball was in there for strike two. Shapiro gets ahead here on both Habercorn and Truitt after the 4-pitch walk to Hudgens. Here's the 0-2 delivery. Swing and a miss. Trey Truitt, 3 pitches and 3 strikes for Shapiro. And just like that, 2 outs here in the bottom half of the second as Ford Proctor will come to the plate.
Yeah, and that was 3 straight curve pitches in there by Shapiro. And you wonder for Hyannis, even though they were probably seeing it pretty well before, maybe kind of lay off some of them a little bit and see where they're going to get called and try to let him work. Maybe try to force him to throw a fastball at some point instead of just swinging at all his breaking stuff.
Shapiro will check Hudgens at first. Proctor grounded into that fielder's choice as a great play for McKinnon at first to throw out Truitt at third. But Proctor then came around to score as he fights this one off into left field. Coming under it is Wong, and he'll make the grab for the third out of the inning. So Hyannis leaves Hudgens stranded at first as they go 1-2-3 here in the bottom half of the second. We'll head to the third. 3-2, Hyannis leading on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. kind of wanted to lead things off for Bourne here in the third, and Juan obviously recording that last out of the inning for the Braves, and you usually don't see Wong out and left as he flies this one into right. Habercorn is under, and he'll make the grab. Wong, one of those utility players out of Houston, and has played only left and catcher in his time on the Cape. DH last night, but for Houston, playing pretty much every position.
Yeah, that's something you don't always really see. A lot of players usually they try to specialize in one position or another, but Wong just finding abilities all over the field.
David McKinnon takes a first pitch strike on the outside corner. Curveball misses low. As we mentioned, McKinnon, a junior at Hartford. Batting average has continued to climb throughout his 3 years. 392 this year. RBIs as well, 34. And the power numbers also getting there. 15 doubles and 4 home runs. His career highs at Hartford. 2-1 misses on the inside corners. The count moves to 3-1.
And you can see with House, he's trying to pump that fastball on the inside. He's done that a couple of times early on and hasn't quite been able to spot it yet.
3-1 is chopped to third. Rogers with a nice play. The throw on to first is in time, and Rogers, a late reaction there as the ball kind of died on him, but good hands as he fielded it cleanly and get the second out of the inning.
And that's why you like Rogers really helping out over there. Third base, he's really doing a great job. I mean, you can see over there you had Pecora there, who's a little bit lankier than Rogers. Rogers can definitely have a little bit more power to add to the bat. You saw Stadjuar over there, and now you can see Rogers really cementing himself at that spot, and he showed it right there with that play.
Justin Yurchek, the batter for Bourne, and Rogers has been a pillar there at third. 2 errors 2 games ago in the Wareham game, but really has just been outstanding defensively and offensively. Here's the 2-0. It's in there for a strike.
And you can see here for House, he's definitely going to the fastball a little bit more. And I think that's what he needs to do. I think he was going too much breaking stuff early on, and that's where guys were kind of getting to him once he had to throw something else.
This one's grounded to second. Rutherford is there, and he'll throw on to first. A 1-2-3 inning for Alex House. And the Harbor Hawks, they lead it 3-2, headed into the bottom half of the third on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Earn a bachelor's or a master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
Zach Rutherford to lead things off here in the third. As he takes a first pitch strike from Shapiro, who settled in against the last 3 hitters for Hyannis. Struck out Truitt and Habercorn. And got Proctor to ground out. Fly out to left as Rutherford swings through that one. The count moves to quickly 0-2.
Yeah, he's been dropping a lot more in here on Hyannis at this point and showing a lot more different stuff that Hyannis has had to think about since they've seen him in the first inning.
Swing and a miss by Zach Rutherford. He looked hesitant on that one. As Shapiro, 3 pitches and 3 strikes for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, he definitely looked hesitant on that one. He's new. It's kind of like the mind reacts and the body doesn't want you to, and you saw that right there. His hands kind of slowly came around there and knew he was going to get called for that strike.
Jordan Rogers, the batter now for Hyannis. As Shapiro kicks and delivers. And it's a first pitch strike on the outside corner. Shapiro cruising now in the third.
Yeah, he's dropping him right in there on Hyannis, and I'm not really sure how to respond to him right now. He's not really giving him much else to look at.
Second pitch is a strike on the inside half. Another 0-2 count for Shapiro. And talking with Hyannis hitters before the game, they were saying, Coach Gassman telling them they need to lay off pitches a little bit. They've been very aggressive the first time through the order, usually jumping on first pitches is the first good-looking pitch that they see, but here Shapiro getting ahead of them. Swing and a miss, and another strikeout for Shapiro. His 4th of the game already. 2 up and 2 down, and now Carl Stadjahar coming to the plate for Hyannis.
And he's really found a home in that lower part of the strike zone there, and I think that goes to what you're talking about. I think kind of has to lay off a little bit there and see how far he's going to go there that's going to get called to strike and not just giving him the swings.
Stadjahar swings through the first pitch from Shapiro. And Stadjahar hasn't been the hitter that he was at home in New Mexico. But he has a hit in 4 out of the 7 games. 2 coming against Bourne in his first game up here in the home opener. A 5-4 loss and extra innings that Carlos Stadjahar made happen with that 2-run home run, his only home run so far on the Cape season. Curveball hits as the count moves to 1-2 with 2 outs. Shapiro gets the pitch. He kicks and delivers on the outside half. 2-2.
Yeah, and you can see earlier on the day it was a little bit more windy going out into the outfield, and you can see it's kind of died down here so far at McKeon Park.
Here's the 2-2, just out of the zone.
I don't know why he continues to go to the fastball. I mean, he's really been having wonders working down low there with the breaking stuff and a little bit with the fastball as well.
Curveball has definitely been on for Shapiro. Here's the 3-2 count, and he walks him after getting the count to 1-2. So Stadjahar with the 2-out walk. And now Cody Henry coming to the dish for the Harbor Hawks.
Yeah, and that's a little annoyance there for Shapiro. You saw him look flawlessly between Rutherford and Rogers, and then kind of works a little bit by Stadjahar there, who saw him the first couple of times and then finally decides to lay off of a couple and make him finally work for a strikeout.
Well, Henry had that kind of odd base hit back in the first. Shattered his bat on the first pitch and dropped one into right field, right out of the reach of Luis Alvarado. Had an RBI single with it. Shapiro kicks and delivers off and running. And Stadjahar, this one is smoked into left field over the head of Wong. It's off the tip of his glove. Stadjahar is rounding third. He will come home and score. It's an RBI double for Cody Henry. 4-2 the lead now for Hyannis. And boy, just out of the reach of Connor Wong, Gabe.
Yeah, but Connor Wong almost reaching for it would have been a spectacular play by him. But how about Carl Stadjahar? He's getting a mean in the dugout. That man turned on the afterburners and anything else he had in there to make it over to home plate.
And you saw Stadjahar take off to second immediately. Immediately your first reaction is, oh, God, he's not stealing second, is he? And Henry just smacks that one into left field. But Stadjahar, you're exactly right, turning on the Jets. Here's Este. Hits the first pitch to short. Ehrman is there and on the run. He'll make the play, but not before Cody Henry with a big 2-out double to knock home Staguar. It's a 4-2 lead for Hyannis headed into the top half of the fourth. Stick with us here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Willie on to lead things off for Bourne. Alex House on the mound for the Harbor Hawks here in the fourth as Jan smokes the first one. It's popped up. Foul territory. Henry can't find it, but Rutherford can, and he comes down with the catch. Boy, that was a lack of communication there, but good work from Zach Rutherford to come up with it.
Yeah, I mean, Henry probably wasn't going to make that catch as he was a little bit far off the line there. Rutherford running in there. Not the best communication that they had, but at least for the most part, you're able to make that out, and you retire Jan, who really has been a damaged guy here against Hyannis.
Well, Wong shows bunt. Excuse me. McVeigh shows bunt, but pulls back as that one falls in for a ball. Nice curveball from House for strike one. McVeigh singling in his last plate appearance against House, and this time grounding it to short. Proctor is there, a long throw from deep short, and he's going to get the second out of the inning. Strong arm and good throw from Ford Proctor.
And this is what you like to see from House after having that struggle of second inning there. Working pretty well now against Bourne and finding his pitches inside a little bit more and mixing up with the fastball and breaking stuff.
Alvarado fouls this one back.
Right fielder from Nebraska, number 19, Luis Alvarado.
Alvarado hitting .222 on the Cape with a triple and 3 RBIs as he swings through this one for strike two. House sticking low against Luis Alvarado.
Yeah, I mean, he's seen Shapiro sticking low as well, so House is going to do the same.
The 0-2 chopped foul.
And House put everything to that one. You kind of see he was going to drop that. I think Alvarado knew that was going to drop in on him, and he had to defensively swing at it.
4-2 lead for Hyannis in the top half of the fourth with 2 outs as House kicks and deals, and it's a curveball, swing and a miss by Luis Alvarado. House with another 1-2-3 inning here in the top half of the fourth as we head to the bottom of the inning. 4-2 lead for Hyannis. You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Chatham's Bar Inn, Resort and Spa, a time you'll always remember, a place you'll never forget, a proud member of leading hotels of the world.
Chris Hudgens
Fourth inning for the Harbor Hawks.
to lead off another inning for Hyannis as led off the second with a 4-pitch walk. Was unable to advance after Shapiro mowed down 3 straight Harbor Hawk hitters and looked to be going his way in the third as well. But after the Stadjahar walk, Cody Henry smacked a fastball in a deep left field as the first pitch to Hudgens is popped up into center. And Mangum is under it for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, and this time Hudgens not waiting around here for a walk and immediately going at it. Put it far in the outfield, but it hung up there pretty far enough that Mangum really had no hardship trying to get under that one.
Was well struck to center, but at 394 signed the deepest part of McKeon Park. Abercorn takes a strike down the middle. He struck out in his first plate appearance. And another curveball that drops in there, this time does not hit. Count moves to 1-1. Abercorn out of Cincinnati, left fielder in McVeigh. Abercorn facing Perez, another Cincinnati pitcher, and Wong was behind the plate, his Cincinnati teammate now in left field. So Cincinnati everywhere in this one. Here's the 1-2 from Shapiro. Swing and a miss from Trey Abercorn. Second strikeout for Abercorn. As Shapiro works 2 here in the bottom half of the fourth.
Yeah, and Shapiro worked back down low there and way outside there, that fanned by Abercorn. And for a little over an inning now, there's been a little warm-up going on in the Bourne bullpen. And waiting to see what Shapiro has here. I mean, he's been kind of going back and forth with how he's been dealing to guys. He's been dropping in there, but I think now for Hyannis, your third time around now, if you're Trey Truitt, kind of have to wait and see how he's going to drop these pitches in.
Well, if you're Bourne, you definitely don't want to go to the bullpen early, as they did last night, as Truitt fouls this one out of play for strike 1.
Remember, fans, thanks to our friends at
6 pitchers used against Brewster
foul ball that left McClean.
in a 7-2 loss, the second straight for Bourne. First place team in the division. Off to a hot start and now trying to beat Hyannis here at home for the third time. Truitt swings through that one. Count goes to 1-2 now.
Yeah, and he's kind of doing that thing again, Jack, that you mentioned before, kind of with his shoulders and like doing that little motion and trying to stay with it.
Here's the 1-2. Misses low. And Gabe, what you're referring to, he's bumping that right elbow into his side, trying to make sure that he's not getting on top of the ball. And he's getting his hands underneath it. As he struggles to do that, his top hand's really wrapped around. 2-2, swing and a miss. It's bounced around. Wolfforth has no problem on the throw, however. Another 1-2-3 inning for Shapiro. We'll head to the 5th. 4-2, Hyannis leads Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Airman Wolfforth, and then the top of the lineup for Bourne to lead off the 5th. as Alex House has settled down here in the last 2 innings. First offering is a ball. 6 hits and 2 runs given up by House. Most of those coming in the third as Ehrman swings through this one for strike 1.
Yeah, and you can see House getting a little bit more comfortable with everything that he's dealing. He's kind of felt out where the strike zone is and where he kind of has to put it as he's going through his lineup for another time.
Swing and a miss. This one's fouled off but caught by Hudgens. Count moves to 1-2 as House looking strong in his second start here on the Cape. Took the loss against Falmouth. Only gave up 2 earned runs, however, on 5 hits and 3 2/3 innings worked. 5-0 loss against Falmouth. Here's the 1-2. That one misses low in the dirt. There's Ehrman. We'll step back in. House shakes off the first sign, but agrees with the second. Here's the 2-2. On the outside corner, it's a 1-hopper to Proctor. He'll take 2 shuffles and throw on to first for out number 1.
Yeah, and that's really just House finding ways to induce some ground pitches. He does have a couple of strikeouts to go along with tonight, but you can see that he's just trying to force things in play a lot, especially inducing a lot of ground balls here for Bourne so far in this game.
Here's Garrett Wolforth, who had that 2 RBI single back in the third. He takes a first pitch ball. Wolforth took that one down the right field line. Recently arrived here on the Cape as his team, Dallas Baptist, in the regionals, losing in the finals. Started 22 games as a freshman this year, as the count quickly moves to 3-0.
Yeah, and House having a little bit of trouble now finding the strike zone, as Wolforth just really sitting back.
Strike down the middle. 1 out here in the 5th, a 4-2 lead for Hyannis. 6 hits on the board for Bourne and 5 for the Harbor Hawks. And here's the 3-1 on the inside corner, misses the 5-pitch walk. And Hudgens is going to go out and chat with Alex House, as it looks like a few members of the Harbor Hawks bullpen are going to get up and loosen up as well.
Yeah, and Hudgens kind of just helping out with House there. It's just looked like he was just slightly off trying to catch the strike zone there and really not getting Wolforth to really swing at anything. Now has to kind of recover on that one facing against Magnum.
Top of the lineup in the center fielder, Jake Mangum. As he watches the first pitch go by for a ball, and House now 5 balls in the last 6 pitches. Trying to find the zone. He finds it there on the outside corner for strike 1.
And that's really where he needs to try and live with and keep playing it down low unless he needs to try and go upstairs to get one of the guys swinging.
House comes set, kicks and fires. This one is chopped off into left center field. It will fall for a base knock, the first of the evening for Jake Mangum. And now 2 runners on with 1 out in the 5th. Bourne threatening here against House.
And this is looking another one of like those innings for House that he had in the second, where not exactly the same kind of contact you haven't seen so far from Bourne, but you see they're sitting back on him a lot, and they're waiting for him to find some kind of swing here that they can give on him, and they saw one there.
Well, Connor Wong at the dish for Bourne, and he is not the hitter that Alex House wants to face with runners on. 5 straight games with extra base hits. Had a double in last night's loss. Now with 2 on here is House gets across a strike, a curveball. Juan looking down into the coach's box at third, getting the signs. 2 runners on for Connor Wong. Here's the pitch. It's a curveball on the inside corner that hits for strike 2. A nice look there for Alex House.
Yeah, and House clearly feeling a lot better with righties as he kind of forces them to be locked up when he throws that curve pitch inside.
Newcomer and Matthew Naylor out of Florida Atlantic warming in the pen for the Harbor Hawks. With one other nameless reliever as of now. Wong smokes that one into right. Habercorn goes back, but he grabs it. Tagging from third is Wolforth, and he'll be in there safely with 2 outs here and runners on the corners for the 3-hitter and David McKinnon.
Yeah, and that's really all Wong unfortunately could have tried to do. And
25, David McKinnon.
House, you'll take that one, get that second out, and possibly for manager Gassman, that might have been the last out that House will see, and possibly going to the bullpen.
We'll check with Gassman as he'll come out and talk, and looks like he'll grab the ball from Alex House. It's a good outing, however, by the young freshman. 4 2/3 innings pitched, only gave up 2 runs on 7 hits, and leaves 2 on for Bourne. It will be a pitching change, and it will be the newcomer in Matthew Naylor. We'll step aside here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. A 4-2 lead for Hyannis. Stick with us during the pitching change. The newcomer in Matthew Naylor making his first appearance here in relief for the Harbor Hawks. A transfer from Dayton Beach Community College and now playing at North Florida. The sophomore, very talented sidearm pitcher from North Florida. Had a good season his sophomore year.
Yeah, Jack, out of there. Coming from North Florida, 6'3", 205 pounds, 2.52 ERA.
As he kicks, delivers a first pitch strike on the outside corner.
In 30 appearances, he had 5-3 record, 3 saves, 50 innings pitched, 44 hits, 14 earned, 12 walks, and 56 strikeouts, and a batter average against of 239.
Naylor comes set and delivers his way outside. And the strikeouts to walk ratio, a big one for Matt Naylor. It shows you the control that he has in what appears to be a very uncontrollable sidearm delivery. Here's the 1-1 to McKinnon. Low in the dirt, good block by Hudgens.
Yeah, and for him, you can see it can be dangerous on both ends for a batter when you're talking about right now for McKinnon, a righty. He's seen it release so far out from where he would think it'd be coming in, and you saw before the last two pitches, it curved way far in that Hudgens had to move out to the right to get it.
Here's the 2-1. Wong takes off. Swinging through it is McKinnon, and Hudgens will hold it up as Connor Wong grabs a stolen base. And now runners on second and third with 2 outs here. But Naylor with a 2-2 count against David McKinnon in the 5th.
And I think Hudgens kind of realized there that Woolforth was over at third.
On the outside corner, just misses.
He didn't want to be a misplay over at second and then have a chance for Woolforth to score. So heard it was called a strike, and we'll put it on Naylor to get the final one.
Here's the payoff pitch from Matthew Naylor with 2 outs. As it's inside, swung on. Fly to center. Truitt will have no problem with that as Naylor walks off the field in confidence. Gets the final out here in the 5th in his first relief appearance on the Cape. Hyannis leads this one 4-2, headed into the bottom half of the inning. You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. New pitcher for the Bourne Braves and Brady Miller making his second appearance here on the Cape. Pitched 6 strong innings in his first, only gave up a hit with 7 strikeouts.
Number 4, Ford Proctor.
Out of Western Oregon. The right-hander will face Ford Proctor in his first appearance in relief. As he pumps across a first pitch strike on the outside corner.
Yeah, and this guy Miller, a crazy motion here on the mound. All different kinds of body parts going in different ways.
Here's the 0-1. Misses low.
I mean, it's kind of even hard to explain. He kind of starts off with the motion, sides it, arm kind of pumps up and down there, and he kind of hides where his hands go.
Brings it around his body, and Proctor fouls this one out of play, and it looks like with the leg kick, he kind of hides the ball behind his hips, brings his glove that low. As Proctor will step back in for the 1-2 pitch. Fouling it off his left leg, and he's going to hobble a little bit. That one hurt.
Yeah, it looked like it kind of hit him pretty low there in the ankle. And he's going to kind of walk around there for a second, and Gassman's going to come over and talk to him. And he still has a little bit of a limp going. And he's going to probably going to tell Gassman that he might be all right, but he's continuing to limp around.
Just trying to walk it off. He's going to give Gassman the thumbs up, and that is one thing that coaches on the Cape are very wary about injuries and players dealing with injuries and players getting injuries on the Cape League. They don't want to send an injured player home.
Seemed like just a huge stinger there in the angle that you didn't want to get.
We'll do it again. That one missing just low to move the count to 2-2.
And you can see with Miller, he kind of really sets up pretty quickly here, and especially with the statuesque stance that he has starting off.
This one fouled out of play. Proctor 0 for 2 on the day. Reached on a fielder's choice back in the first and came around to score the first run of the game. Hyannis tacking on 3 more to lead it 4-2 here as Proctor sends this one the other way, just foul.
And Proctor doing a good job in this at bat early on. The first guy to see Miller here, and a good job at it in a leadoff spot, making him use a lot of his pitches and placements.
Proctor thought about it, but holds up as that one missed up high, and the count moves to full. And Gabe, you're exactly right. Good work from Proctor here, seeing a ton of different looks from Miller. Payoff pitch. This one flied out into left. Wong goes over, and he'll make the grab on the line for out number 1. So after a good at-bat by Proctor, he'll end up jogging back to the bench and jogging very hesitantly, I might add.
Yeah, he kind of still didn't really move around. You kind of thought he stepped back in there. He really wasn't feeling too great leaning on that ankle and tried to take as good of a hacks as he can.
Zach Rutherford will step to the dish, 1 for 2 on the day. As he swings at the first pitch and just foul of the third base bag. Willie Yon had no play on it either. That could have been extra bases.
That one might have hopped maybe a second from over being third base and being called fair. That was close there. It hopped basically right before the third base.
Rutherford fouls this one out of play over the first base dugout, and the count moves to 0-2.
And, I mean, you can see for Hyannis, they're seeing the ball at least for them and not just swinging at nothing, but getting not the best contact.
This one misses outside. Rutherford leads the Harbor Hawks in doubles with 4. And Truitt right behind him with 3. This one misses low. I should say 4, I guess, because Truitt doubled tonight. So that statistic's actually pretty wrong. Truitt and Rutherford tied with 4, the lead for Hyannis. And Rogers right behind them with 2. Rutherford fights this one foul into the Bourne dugout. Not a lot of motion there in the Bourne dugout. Looks to not a lot of lively action, as we've certainly come to know the Hyannis dugout a little bit. As this one misses low, gets past Wolford. And Gabe, in the pre-games, we saw some Hyannis pitchers juggling out a soccer ball in the bullpen. They're known to chirp their own left fielder at times as well, and already some personalities emerging out there. This one is chopped to third. Good play by Yon to keep it to the short hop. The long throw is in time for out number 2.
I mean, yeah, you saw that last year, especially Hyannis didn't kind of switch the soccer ball for a football a little bit, but either way, the same thing works here. I mean, the bullpen last year got so close, they named themselves the Bullpen Mafia, so that kind of worked out for them, and they were also an interesting group of guys, very well connected out there.
I don't know if it's necessarily the Mafia crew this year out in the bullpen. Ragtag team of individuals out there. Gilbreth, Stevens. Here's the 1-0 to Rogers, as that one is in there for a strike. 4-2 lead for Hyannis in the 5th. Jordan Rogers at the plate as he faces Brady Miller for the first time this evening, and Miller hits with a fastball in the outside corner for strike 2.
Yeah, and you can see so far from Miller, he's going in and around here with these pitches, but getting Hyannis to at least swing.
Miller fouls this one off. stay alive. Rogers now in his 6th game, hitting .389. 7 hits on the year. This one fouls off again into the Bourne dugout. Pitcher warming in the Hyannis bullpen. Getting loose. Looks to be Al Pesto. Here's the 1-2. Swung on, chopped right to Miller. He handles it well after he knocks it down, and he'll flip it on to first for the 3rd and final out of the inning. A 1-2-3 inning for the relief pitcher in Brady Miller. We'll head to the 6th. Hyannis leading this one 4-2 on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Proud to be a sponsor of the Hyannis Harborhawks.
Top of the 6th inning we go here from McKeon Park. A 4-2 lead for the Hyannis Harborhawks as they're looking for their 3rd win in a row after going 0-7 and trying to hand Bourne their 3rd loss in a row. And on the mound now will be Al Pesto as he replaces Matthew Naylor. And talking to pitching coach Ray Korn, he said he hasn't really seen much of Naylor early on as he's recently got here, so he wasn't even sure if he was going to come out today for a possible relief appearance. So that might be why of the early exit here for Naylor, just because the coaches haven't seen much of him. Pesto, first pitch upstairs, called for a strike as he throws that one to Justin Yurchek. Yurchek so far 0-for-2 with 2 groundouts. And he watches as that fastball catches the outer half for an 0-2 count.
And Al Pesto has been great in 3 relief appearances. One against Harwich, Falmouth, and Harwich again. 2 innings in his last appearance, only gave up 3 hits.
Swing and a miss there at a big one by Yurchek, and 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and the first out for Pesto.
Great work from Al Pesto to come in and throw some good hard strikes. And the reliever out of Duke, cementing himself as one of the long relief guys in this bullpen.
Leon now will step in. One of the 2 runs that Bourne has scored tonight. Pesto kicks, deals. That one is flown out into deep right field. Moving back right by the warning track is Habercorn for the 2nd out.
Easy 2 up and 2 down for Al Pesto, working against the Bourne lineup. And
The next batter for the
Gabe, when you throw strikes like that, when you're throwing consistently, you really force the offense to swing at your pitches, especially if they're in the zone. And 70% of the time, you're going to get batters out.
First pitch, Pesto breaks inside down low to Connor McVeigh for strike one.
And when you're throwing 90, that number increases.
That fastball heats in there, and quick 2 strikes here for Pesto, who is working quickly in his first inning of relief.
And then that's what happens. You get a hitter down in the count, and you just put him away with your out pitch.
0-2 pitch popped into the air into center. Truitt under it, moving forward, and makes the final out of the inning. A 1-2-3 inning for Al Pesto as he comes into relief. High fives his man in Chris Hudgens, and we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. 4-2, Hyannis leads on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
designated hitter.
Bottom of the 6th inning here from McKeon Park as Carl Staduar will step up here. And Staduar scored a run in the 3rd inning after running all the way from first to home. And he steps in now after he only was 0 for 1 because he walked on in that time he scored that run. And he will be facing Brady Miller for the first time here for Hyannis. Staduar steps in here to face the statuesque Miller on the mound. First pitch by Miller. Catches in there for strike one.
I see what you did there, Gabe.
What'd I do?
Staduar, statuist.
Oh. Wasn't even meant to do that. I'm happy you picked up on that. Wasn't even planning on that one. But it seemed to have worked out anyway. 1-1 count here for Brady Miller. As he deals, Staduar looks down low there, called for 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, and Staduar, obviously that walk leading to a run after the Cody Henry double, the hit and run.
The 1-2. Staduar looks in, leans in, doesn't swing, and is called for ball 2.
And Hyannis has really improved with their 2-out hitting. We saw a couple of 2-out hits last night to knock runners in.
Just fouls that one off into the netting. Stays at a 2-2 count for Staduar. Give you an update of what's going on around the Cape League. Top of the 9th inning, a 3-0 lead for the Harwich Mariners at Red Wilson Field against the YD Red Sox. Miller, the 2-2 pitch, deals. Staduar fouls that one off right off the mask of Wolforth. Stays at a 2-2 count. Bottom of the 4th, Brewster Whitecaps a 9-0 lead over the Falmouth Commodores, who are playing at home. 1-0 lead for the Chatham Anglers all the way out in Wareham tonight. Top of the 4th at Spillane Field.
That's a hike.
That's an understatement. 2-2 count. Miller sets and fires. Staduar pops it into the air. Running in is Alvarado, calls everyone off and makes the first out.
And you can see the isolated power from Staduar just not being hacked into right now as he just gets under that pitch. And if he puts some good wood on it, that thing is long gone.
And the final score here in Eldridge Park, 1-0 lead for the Orleans Firebirds against the Cotuit Kettleers in the top of the 2nd inning. Hyannis just recently played in Cotuit yesterday and took game 1 of the Barnstable Patriot Cup in Lowell Park. And a 1-0 pitch goes there for Cody Henry, who is now sitting in the left-handed batter's box, The switch hitter going up against that righty in Miller. And he fouls that one away for a 1-1 count.
Yeah, and obviously success from the right side. He's hit a home run as a right-hander. Smacked a double as well.
The 1-1, that one is ripped right into the gap in right field for Cody Henry. And Cody Henry, 3 of 3 today. 2 singles and a double for him.
That's exactly what he has needed. He's slowly progressed as a hitter up here, getting more and more base knocks. Even when he's not getting those hits, he's on top of the ball. And Cody Henry led Alabama in doubles and could be a huge force in the bottom half of this lineup.
Has 2 RBIs to go along with today as well as he scurries on over to first to avoid the tag from Miller. 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning, already a 4-2 lead for Hyannis. Up to bat will be Cameron Este. Miller deals, fouled away by Este. Right back into the glove, though, of Woolforth as it bounces off the backstop. 0-1 count.
Well, Este with a hit 2 days ago against Wareham in their first win. Was absent in the lineup last night, but now getting a chance here as a hit tonight.
Miller kicks the 0-1, misses down low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Este so far tonight, 0 for 2, but had a far shot into right field in that first inning, although he was not able to get it all the way there as Alvarado went to the warning track. 1-1 count, misses inside, 2 balls and 1 strike.
A fake Ozzy the Osprey just got changed in here, is now headed out to the crowd. I don't know who that is, but that's not the real mascot for sure.
You seem to want to go into it again.
You know what, Gabe? It's a love-hate relationship with that suit.
2-1 pitch, swing and a miss by Este. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Never been so overheated in my life. That thing is almost like the Philly Fanatic suit. It's bulky.
I think any mascot suit would likely be bulky. 2-2 pitch. Este gets a piece of that one, and it goes in the gap this time in left field. And a hit for Este. 2 straight hits for Hyannis with 1 out.
Great work by Cameron Este going the other way with it. We don't see him do that often. And in a game where he absolutely smoked one into right field, and Alvarado making a really nice play on it, he shows some versatility here going the other way in the line drive into left.
So now here is Chris Hudgens. 2 men on, 1 out here for Hyannis. Hudgens walked in the 2nd and then flew out to center in the 4th. Waits for Brady Miller here, who stares on in. Miller checks over at 2nd. Deals the first pitch, fouled away behind by Hudgens for strike 1.
Another catcher showing up today, Gabe. We got to see him in the booth, and it's been a long-awaited arrival of Chris Cullen out of South Carolina. Very talented catcher. And him and Hudgens now, looks like they'll be fighting for that starting spot, splitting time.
0-1 to Hudgens. Fans at that one down low for 2 quick strikes.
And it's not so much fighting for that starting spot because every day usually you see managers switch around their catcher, give their guys a break. It's a lot of baseball up here on the Cape. But fighting for that number 1 spot, to say the least.
Miller, the 0-2 pitch, fanned once again by Hudgens for strike 3 and the 2nd out of the inning.
Yeah, good work from Brady Miller. He really had to bear down against Hudgens in a big at-bat with 1 out and 2 runners on. Now it's a completely different situation with those 2 outs. And Drake Habercorn, who's been cold as of late, has 2 strikeouts on the day.
Yeah.
Trying to knock somebody in.
He has Cody Henry in scoring position. Miller sets and stares over and turns over to 2nd. And no throw is made as Henry retreats.
Gabe, you almost wonder with the speed of Habercorn, and you see Yawn and McKinnon way back behind the bag. As he try to drop down a drag bunt with 2 outs.
Miller deals that one, a slow trickler over. It's going to be called fair, gathered by McKinnon, and he makes the final out of the inning. Hyannis leads 2 men stranded and Cody Henry and Cameron Este, but they have a 4-2 lead as we head to the 7th inning of play here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the 8th inning here from McKeon Park. Al Pesto back on the mound here after only throwing 7 pitches in that previous inning, as he will face first man in Luis Alvarado as he throws a fastball right by his head. Getting out of the way is Alvarado. He'll face Alvarado, Ehrman, and Woolforth, the final men in this lineup, 7, 8, and 9. Fastball this time upstairs and away, called for strike 1.
See Ozzy rubbing some bald heads in the crowd there, making their way around.
The 1-1. That one knocked a little bit over to Rutherford, gathers it, and deals to Henry at first, and gets the first out.
And, you know, talking to Gassman about Rutherford and Proctor, those two middle infielders, almost too valuable to take out of the lineup. You see a lot of other guys changing. You see Este and Habercorn in and out of the lineup in left and right. Hudgens getting days off as well, but those two middle infielders always in the lineup, always at second and short because they are so valuable. Alternated between those two positions every game this far.
Fastball misses upstairs to Jeremy Ehrman for ball 1. Ehrman hit by a pitch in the second, made it all the way over to third, but was not able to score a third run here for Bourne. This time catches on the outside there for Pesto, and a 1-1 count. Ehrman in the 5th inning grounded out to short. Pesto, righty, deals, fouled away, and a 1-2 count for Jeremy Ehrman.
Very talented shortstop in Ehrman. Solid defensively as well. You can see the athletic stance at the plate. Translates that to the opposite end.
1-2, swing and a miss by Ehrman, and Pesto gets his second strikeout of the evening, and it's the second out of the 7th.
Yeah, just dominating right now. Al Pesto is cruising through that last inning and now through the 7th as he gets the bottom half of the order on both accounts. And with a 4-2 lead, you think Al Pesto has the 8th. And it looks like Tyler Stevens warming up in the bullpen for the 9th.
First pitch to Woolforth, breaks on in there, called for strike 1.
And you see Chris Hudgens with that nod. He's really feeling it, and he knows Al Pesto is cruising right now. He's just going to go with what Al Pesto wants to pitch.
0-1, misses outside, 1-1 count.
A lot of times, catchers and pitchers not catching and pitching to each other often here on the Cape, but when they fall into a rhythm, it's great.
Popped up into the air, Hudgens running back towards the fence, but it goes just over it and hits on the The brick slabs there right in front of a fan, probably a couple inches from him, and it bounces far away into the crowd.
Yeah, just moves his foot. Avoided a deep bruise.
1-2 count here for the Duke Blue Devil in Al Pesto. Stares on in to Chris Hudgens. The righty sets, fires, and that one slow chopper. Pesto can't get it. Rutherford fields it, throws it over, but not in time.
That one just getting over the head of Al Pesto, and you saw with the first out of the inning, a ground out to Rutherford. Al Pesto thought about it, and this one thought he should let it go by, but it's a lone infield knock there that Al Pesto can't really do much about, as Bourne still cannot really get solid contact on the reliever from Duke.
It simply died after it hopped over Pesto. Rutherford not even in the chance to charge in as fast as he needs to, and wouldn't have had a chance at the play anyway once he came up with it. 2 outs, top of the 7th inning. Bourne trailing 4-2. Pesto working from the stretch for the first time as he faces Jake Mangum. Mangum lines that one into the gap into left field, and it's 2 straight hits for Bourne with 2 outs.
That one just sneaking through the hole. And now Connor Wong at the dish, and hasn't been as productive today as he would like, but an opportunity here with 2 outs in the 7th inning to maybe get one back.
As Pesto will step back onto the mound, now working with 2 men on, 2 outs, top of the 7th inning. Bourne with 9 hits today so far. Connor Wong responsible for none of them. 0 for 3 on the day, a pop out and 2 flyouts into right. He steps back in. Pesto sets and stares back over to second. First pitch, breaking down low for ball 1.
Wong still trying to keep that hitting streak alive. He's had a hit in all of his games on the Cape thus far. 8-game hitting streak. Give me a 9-game hitting streak. 4 of those hits being extra bases.
Pesto, the 1-0, chopped foul on the third base side by Wong. Both bullpens for each team getting some long workouts. 2 players per each side right now throwing. Late into this ball game as the sun is slowly setting and the lights turn on here at McKeon Park. Pesto gives the nod. Looks over at second. Continuing, and he will reset back on the mound.
Gotta be smart here against Wong. Doesn't want to leave anything over the plate. Fastball has been working, but the good hitter, Connor Wong, Al Pesto knows that you can put the ball anywhere.
Pesto continues to stare, and time called once again. Pesto taking hard stares over at second, continuing to stare at Rutherford, who's giving him the signs. Rutherford nowhere really near second base. Proctor far right into the fringe of left field. And the 1-1 pitch, Pesto finally deals and fouled away by Wong for a 1-2 count. So now Al Pesto has worked his way to a 1-2 count against Connor Wong to try and escape this inning unscathed, as his team leads by 2 here in the top of the 7th inning.
And El Paso trying to work out of a 2-out jam here. Can't give away any runs with 2 outs late in the game.
Pesto sets and fires. Fastball misses upstairs for ball 2.
But Hudgens liked the location. Right on that outside half. A setup pitch. This next one on the 2-2 count.
Wolforth at second. Mangum at first. 2-2 count for Pesto. He kicks, fires, misses inside there right by the knees of Wong.
Oh, and that was a great pitch. You knew Al Pesto was going to try to climb in on Wong. And Wong hugging the plate there a little bit. Bumped his hips out and creating the illusion that that pitch was really inside.
A payout pitch, but not before Pesto turns around and fakes Wolforth back over to second. Pesto working very well into this inning and now facing some struggles. A payoff pitch to Connor Wong deals. Wong shows down, and they asked if he went. He did not go, and it's a walk. The base is loaded with 2 outs here for Al Pesto.
And all of a sudden, Hyannis in a jam when something comes out of absolutely nothing. A little dribbler from Garrett Wolforth that Pesto couldn't get to. And a little poke through the hole by Mangum. And now a big walk there worked by Connor Wong. And you're facing the 3-hitter and David McKinnon. This could be damage.
McKinnon leans in, watches the first pitch go down low from Pesto for ball 1.
Now Pesto's got to be smart here. Really falling behind on that first pitch.
The 1-0 from Pesto catches on the lower corner for strike 1.
And he is smart about it. He goes back to the curveball, same location that he was aiming for with the first pitch. And now he evens the count.
The 1-1 fouled away by McKinnon, and Pesto works his way back to a 1-2 count. Pesto, 7 pitches in that 6th inning, and has had to work his way around after getting 2 quick outs. The 1-2 pitch. Pesto sets on the mound, kicks and fires, and that one is lofted into right. And Habercorn is there, and he records the final out of the inning. Bourne leaves the bases loaded as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Hyannis still leading 4-2 on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the 7th inning here for the Hyannis Harbrox, as it will be the leadoff man in Trey Truitt, followed by Ford Proctor and Zach Rutherford here for the Hyannis Harbrox. They lead 4-2 against the Bourne Braves, who they're facing for the 3rd time so far in this young Cape League season. That one breaks inside down low from Brady Miller for ball 1.
Truitt's been a little bit quiet since that leadoff double in the first.
Fastball misses outside in a 2-0 count to Truitt. Had that double in the first and then has struck out swinging both times after. Miller, the 2-0. Fastball gets in there for strike 1.
And Truitt knows that he should have capitalized on that pitch. Pumps his chest. And a little bit of frustration.
The 2-1, and he gets a piece of that one going into left field. No one is able to get it, and grabbing it barehanded is Mangum, and he gets it in with enough time to keep Truitt to a single.
Wow, that's a great play by Mangum as Truitt was rounding first on his way to second, but the barehanded grab and the quick release out in center field kept Truitt at first.
Number 4, Ford Proctor.
Good hit by Trey Truitt. A leadoff single, but now it looks like Bourne will make a change defensively.
Yeah, it seems like it'll be the end here as Harvey Shapiro will come out walking slowly as we'll wait to see what his move will be made here with Brady Miller as he gathers everyone in here on the mound. Trey Truitt leading off a single here for him today. And he'll be followed by Ford Proctor. Shapiro has not made a call yet as he's still talking with everyone. Bourne only trailing 4-2 here, but he finally makes the call to the bullpen here, does Harvey Shapiro. We'll see a new pitcher here for the Bourne Braves. Bottom of the 7th inning, no outs and a man on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. We return back here in the bottom of the 7th inning with a man on board here for Hyannis in Trey Truitt, the leadoff man with a single into left. The new man on the mound will be Connor O'Neill, the righty, 6'2", 190-pounder from Cal State Northridge. Has already appeared in 3 games, 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts for the righty as he will face the lefty in Ford Proctor. As O'Neill steps in and fires the first pitch, misses upstairs for ball 1 to Proctor.
Yeah, and O'Neill, the go-to guy out of the bullpen for Bourne, making his 4th appearance on the year. Appeared in all 3 wins for Bourne against Hyannis, Catuit, and Orleans. That 5-4 win against Hyannis, pitched 2 innings, only gave up 2 hits and struck out 4.
Fires over back to first. Truitt pretty close and stands up safely. Proctor reached on a fielder's choice in the first, and then 2 wild pitches moved him from third and then to home to score, and then has flown out in his next 2 at-bats. Truitt runs, hit and run play there, moving back and diving and making the grab is Connor Wong. What a grab by Wong as he was diving and probably would have dropped in fair play if had he missed it. And there's one out away.
And that's why he was the first team All-American Conference utility player, because that man can play any position on the field. Connor Wong with the great grab out and left. We've seen 2 run-saving, diving catches from these Bourne outfielders. One in the first inning with Alvarado and Wright against Este. And then Wong there's Truitt. He would have had extra bases with it. Could have rounded to get home.
One out is away. The hit and run does not work for Hines. The strike one's called on Rutherford. Proctor took a long time to get back as he believed for a second that the ball might have popped out of the glove of Wong as he was making that diving catch and might have called it a fair play. It's the 0-1 count here. O'Neill deals, chopped slowly there by Rutherford for a quick 0-2 count.
And another hesitating swing from Rutherford. We've seen 2 of those in tonight's game, and usually a pretty confident hitter up there. Not really second-guessing himself, but just making sure that he's fouling off those pitches that he's not liking.
The 0-2 here, O'Neill shakes a couple of pitches off of Wolforth. He stares on in. 0-2 pitch, down low in the dirt. Wolforth keeps it in front of him. Nice job by him and a 1-2 count.
Yeah, the Dallas Baptist catcher started 22 games for really a top 10 program that has turned it around in the last 10, 15 years. As Dallas Baptist used to be a Division II college baseball team. And now one of the top powerhouses in the country, losing in regionals this past year. But last year making it to the Super Regionals and the college, I believe the College World Series as well.
David Martinelli, a previous Hard Rock of last year, a member of the Dallas Baptist team as well, was drafted in the MLB draft. 1-2 pitch, O'Neill drops inside. Truitt, a hesitant steal there, and they're going to easily get him out at second.
Yeah, he just didn't have the jump there, and Wolforth gunned him down on a one-hop throw. Nice play there, and good tag from McVeigh at second. And kind of spoil your chances here in the 7th. As Rutherford down to a 2-2 count.
O'Neill stares on into Wolforth. The bases are cleared with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. O'Neill kicks and deals and misses inside for a full count.
Very slow and methodical from the windup is O'Neill.
Much simpler moves here than what you saw in the previous guy in Miller. Payoff pitch. Down low, and a walk drawn here by Rutherford with 2 outs.
And Hyannis has really improved in that statistical category, being walks, as now 11 walks now in their last 3 games. They had 9 in the first 5.
Their first 2 games against Bourne, they had 27 strikeouts to 3 walks for them. So even though in this game they do have a decent amount of strikeouts, they've been able to slowly work the pitchers. As that one is rocked into center field, moving back is Mangum, and he watches it hit the fence. Turning from third will be Rutherford, and Rogers is going to go and make his way to third and sliding in safely. It's an RBI triple for Jordan Rogers, and Hyannis leads it 5-2.
Another walk with 2 outs and another extra base hit for Hyannis that knocks in a run. And this time, instead of Cody Henry, it's Jordan Rogers who absolutely smokes one into dead center field. And again, if that one was hit anywhere else, would have been out of the ballpark.
That one was almost out of the ballpark because it hit the bottom of the fence there by Rogers, and Mangum unable to reach it. Pitches fastball inside to Carl Staduar for strike 1 as Rogers sitting over there at third. Hyannis finds a way to push a run across after looking dead in this inning, but has found some life, which has been not the story for them in these early couple of games, but they've found a way to turn it around.
And Gabe, they would get themselves in those 2-out scenarios, put a runner on, and they weren't able to make anything happen, but the hitting is coming along. Now 9 hits for Hyannis, and along with the hits are coming the runs.
The 1-1 count to Staduar, and he slowly chops that one foul to the Hyannis dugout for a 1-2 count.
And if you're listening in for the first time this season and you hear that statement, the hits coming along with the runs, it's kind of a no-brainer to anyone who hasn't been following the Harbor Hawks yet, is the offense was explosive early on in the season, but they just couldn't push any runs across.
The 1-2 count to Staduar as he watches that one drop in too late for ball 2.
Just a few games ago, Hyannis last in the league in runs scored with 13. And then now a 2-game win streak trying to make it 3.
The 2-2, O'Neal kicks, deals, and misses inside to Staduar, and he works it to a full count.
And O'Neal thought that one was going to hit, as that first pitch was eerily similar to the last one.
Payoff pitch here for O'Neal. 2 outs and a man on third. Hyannis scoring 1 run in this inning. O'Neal fires. Staduar, grounder, fielded by Ehrman, has to make a long throw over to first, and he does to make the play. But Hyannis scores 1 run in this inning, and they make it a 5-2 game as we head to the top of the 8th inning here at McKeon Park on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the 8th inning here at McKeon Park. A 5-2 lead for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks as Tyler Stevens will replace Al Pesto coming here in this inning as he will face Justin Yurchek, Willie Young, and Connor McVeigh. Last time we saw Tyler Stevens was in that extra inning game against Harwich where he received the loss after going 4 innings pitched, 5 hits, and that 1 earned run with 3 strikeouts. Called for a strike here on Yurchek. Stevens working well in that game, especially when multiple times Harwich was playing small ball against him and avoiding any damage until that 11th inning came around. As that one is popped into the air, short. Moving back is Rutherford right in front of Habercorn, and he almost hits Habercorn, but he makes the first out.
Yeah, and Habercorn has just got to be, he's got to have more communication there as Rutherford. That could have been dangerous for him. Habercorn, obviously, with the advantage in that play is if he calls Rutherford off, it's his ball. But good play by Rutherford, good backtracking.
So one is away here early for the New Mexico Lobo in Tyler Stevens as Yawn, a slow trickler to Cody Henry, and Henry easily fields that one for the second straight out.
Almost confused the two there, Henry and Staduar.
Staduar getting a couple of stints at first base, played yesterday, so.
They look a little bit similar, same height, same width. The only difference is Henry, bald and no mustache.
True.
Stadjahar, hair and mustache.
Strike one called there on Connor McVeigh. The 0-1 count.
And rumors of the mutton chops coming back as well. Those feared mutton chops in regionals.
Stevens kicks and fires, and that one near the head of McVeigh. He gets out of the way for a 1-1 count. Cody Henry, though, stellar today. 3 for 3 with 2 RBIs. So apologies for getting his name wrong of all days. As time is called as the bullpen session for Bourne interrupted with a ball coming into play. And a wasted pitch there for Tyler Stevens.
Good pitch, too.
Still a 1-1 count here for Stevens. He kicks and fires that one. Fastball called in there now at a 1-2 count.
Stevens making good work so far, and an arm warming in the bullpen for Hyannis, but we could see Stevens out in the ninth.
The 1-2 pitch, and looking down low was McVeigh. Doesn't bite, and he gets the 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It was a good look from Stevens, throwing something low and away. Trying to get McVeigh to chase, and now sets up this next one.
Stevens fires in, missed once again there by McVeigh, who waits and makes it a full count.
Same pitch, same location. Now Stevens trying to get Hyannis into that bottom half of the inning. One more opportunity.
Stevens sets again. Payoff pitch fouled away behind by McVeigh.
If I do say so myself, it looks to be Garrett Cave warming in the bullpen, as Cave's last outing against Bourne did not go as planned, but since has been spectacular.
Payoff pitch once again. Looking there and got him looking there at McVeigh. Catches him inside and locks him up. And the side is retired by Tyler Stevens. Hyannis still with a 5-2 lead as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning from McKeon Park on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the 8th inning here. 5-2, the Hyannis Harbrox lead. The Bourne Braves here in McKeon Park. In a beautiful night, slight breeze in a late June evening here for Hyannis and for Bourne, both playing in their 10th game of the season. And up to bat it will be Cody Henry, who is now in the right-handed batter's box once again, facing the lefty in James Ziemba, the 6'10", 225-pounder out of Duke University.
Sorry, what? 6'10"? Monster.
That one is popped up high. Moving back are a couple of Bourne players. No one's able to make the catch in foul territory. And Henry will return with a 1-1 count.
Ziemba making 2 appearances on the year so far in the Cape. One against Chatham, where he gave up 4 hits with 1 earned run, and a scoreless inning in 2/3 pitched against Orleans in a 9-5 win. Ziemba, you look at his height, you look at his weight, and you look at the velocity, and all the tools coming together for this young man.
The 1-1 to Cody Henry. That misses upstairs.
It's got to be intimidating for a 6'10 lefty to be firing from the mound already with a little advantage.
Ziemba kicks, fires, and that one is driven into center field, but doesn't get far enough there as Mangum gets under it in left center field for the first out.
Boy, we've seen some good swings tonight from Cody Henry. He's really coming into his own here on the Cape. Every single hit has been a line drive into the gap. And Henry struggled with average-wise during his years at Alabama. Got off to a cold start, but tonight you see a lot of promising strikes.
First pitch showing bunt there is Este as it gets past him for strike 1. Este so far 1 for 3 tonight. Fly out, ground out, and then a single in the 6th. As Ziemba continues to stare on into his catcher in Woolforth. Fires in, and nice hold up there by Este as that one breaks outside for a 1-1 count.
Este trying to show a little versatility in his game with the drag bunt.
1-1, Este fans at that one down low, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bottom of the 8th inning, 5-2 lead for Hyannis. 1 out, no one on. Ziemba. Fastball, and he gets Cameron Este looking for the 2nd out of the inning.
That's been the kryptonite for Cameron Este, the strikeouts. 11 on the season now for Este. But he had a good-looking game. Got that single, roped one into right that Alvarado made a great play on, and now Chris Hudgens, the catcher, with a big double in his last at-bat.
2 outs for Hudgens, and he swings at the first pitch he sees and fouls behind him. Ziemba will stare on in here, and Hudgens will step back in. 0-1 pitch. Ziemba kicks, and another swing and a miss by Hudgens for a quick 0-2 count.
2 good-looking off-speed pitches there from Ziemba. And now Hudgens got to work out of a hole here.
Ziemba sets quickly. The 0-2 pitch. Hudgens lifts that one into left center field, going back, and no one's going to get to it as it reaches the wall. Hudgens is going to turn to second, and he will stand up with a double with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th.
Fifth extra base hit tonight for Hyannis, and Gabe, it's coming together. Those hits used to be singles, but now they're turning into deep gap balls. Been trying to get everybody in the lineup hitting from the bottom to the top. You see those top 5 guys really hitting well, and true through Staguar. And now the bottom of the lineup coming into their own tonight.
Trick Habercorn would like to join in on the fun as he is 0 of 3 tonight with 2 strikeouts and a ground out to first. 2 outs here. Chris Hudgens over at second. Ziemba misses outside for ball 1.
Now Habercorn trying to come up with a base hit in a big situation that could use the insurance runs.
Ziemba looks over, stares in. That one's swing and a miss inside by Habercorn for a 1-1 count.
Drew Orton and Peter Zyla getting the nights off tonight in the outfield, and Habercorn getting that start in right field, trying to regain that starting spot back.
1-1 pitch, and that one just catches the outer half by Habercorn, who was slightly surprised by it, but now we'll have to step back in with a 1-2 count.
Yeah, good pitch from Ziemba that catches the outside corner. Habercorn got to work himself out of a hole once again.
Ziemba deals, and that one misses outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ziemba gets his signs from McVeigh at second. Stares on in and now looks back over to second. The lefty looks on in and fires. That one swing and a miss by Habercorn. And Hyannis goes down with a man on second. And they still have a 5-2 lead as we head to the top of the 9th inning, the final opportunity for the Bourne Braves here at McKeon Park on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the 9th inning here from McKeon Park. Garrett Cave will be on the mound, and he will face, in fact, a new pinch hitter as well as Toby Hanley will take the position here as he will be replacing Luis Alvarado. So Hanley will be stepping in here for Alvarado against the fastball thrower here in Garrett Cave, who has came in the previous inning for 1 batter as he fires that one in for a strike. 1 batter, and that earned him a strikeout in 4 pitches to get the save at Cotuit. And hit 97 while he was up there playing against Cotuit. Sends that one in once again, and getting out of the way is Hanley. As while you try to get a new guy in there with a new at-bat, it's going to be hard to catch up to mid-high 90s that quickly.
94 to be exact right now. Garrett Cave pumping it in there.
The 0-2. That one drops in there for a called strike 3 on Hanley, and Cave completely fools him for the first out of the inning. Cave, normally solely throwing fastballs and trying to blow past people, drops one in there and fools Toby Hanley.
78-mile-an-hour curveball. That was unhittable. That one was unhittable, Gabe. That was absolutely speechless.
So now Cave with 1 out away here in the top of the 9th. Deals fastball, misses outside to Jeremy Ehrman for ball 1.
And Cave in his 5th appearance is really just feeling himself here. 2 2/3 innings pitched and already with the save under his belt.
1-0, fastball misses upstairs to Ehrman.
And the great thing for Cave is now he's confident on the mound. He's made 4 appearances already, and he gets another look at Bourne, this time to try to come and get the save.
The 2-0 by Cave. Misses upstairs again. 3 straight balls after that impressive strikeout looking by Garrett Cave. 5-2 lead for the Hyannis Harbrox in this top of the 9th inning. Cave, the righty, kicks, fires, fastball down Broadway for strike 1.
He just needs to keep it there. Let the hitters roll over it or pop under it, as he's coming mid to high 90s now.
The 3-1 to Ehrman, and that one misses upstairs, and it's a 4-pitch walk for Garrett Cave.
Yeah, he's going to take a walk off the mound, and now is where we're going to see who Garrett Cave really is, as he kind of takes that walk off the mound a little bit frustrated with himself. But as a closer, you need to have a short memory. You got to put it behind you, and the mental side for Garrett Cave has been the only thing really holding him back. Just such a talented pitcher. You see the velocity, and you see the breaking curveball there. Got to hone himself in here.
First pitch to Wolforth, and he tips that fastball behind him for strike 1.
And Gabe, can't tell you enough, starting off with strike as a pitcher, how much of a confidence boost that really is for you. Mentally, that just puts you ahead of the game.
The righty sets for Hyannis. 0-1 pitch, and that one misses down low for ball 1. Wolforth, 2 of 2 for today, with a walk as well to reach base. Reached to first base in the 2nd, reached to 3rd in the 5th, and then 2nd in the 7th, but has not scored yet for Bourne. 1-1 pitch, fastball heated down there, 1-2 count, as Garrett Cave finding a little bit more motion here with 1 out and a man on. Doesn't really just seem to pay any attention to Ehrman over at first. Cave, the 1-2, and tried to drop that one in there on Wolforth, but it goes to a 2-2 count.
And Gabe, if you look just directly below us where the scouts sit, you can just see 5 radar guns up right now, and in about 4 weeks, there's going to be 30.
The 2-2, Cave, a slow chopper. He fields it cleanly, and he'll just lob it over to first, and spinning out of the way is Cody Henry. They get the out, but a lackadaisical play by Cave. He escapes, though, with the 2nd out.
Yeah, that one could have been ugly, and Cave just kind of lobbing it over. Henry goes for it. We've seen a lot of collisions at first base that have ended pretty ugly in that sense, with runners trying to beat out a throw, and I've at least I've witnessed a really bad one this past year against Franklin Marshall and McDaniel, but you hate to see those plays, and you love to see that everybody comes out of it all right.
So now reaching over to 2nd will be Ehrman. 2 outs here, top of the 9th inning. Leadoff spot and fouled directly into the wall there, right by the on-deck circle for Hyannis for strike 1. As barely getting around to make a piece of that one was Jake Mangum.
Yeah, and that just tells you, Magnum, maybe you started to swing late there, but the ball is getting in deep on these hitters as they can't catch up to this 90-mile-an-hour stuff.
Cave, the 0-1 showing bunt is Mangum, and he tips it away foul, and he's down to his last strike for Bourne.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with the call. They saw Jordan Rogers way back at 3rd, but hey, Magnum knows how fast Garrett Cave is coming with his fastball, and he doesn't think that he can touch it. Why not lay down a bunt on the 3rd base line? And now down to his last strike here in the 9th as Hyannis looking for the 3rd straight win.
Garrett Cave, the 0-2 count, deals, swing and a miss by Mangum, and into the glove, fouled by Hudgens, and Hyannis wins their 3rd straight game of the season and gives the Bourne Braves their 3rd straight loss as well, and they win their 1st game of the season by more than 1 run, as it's happened in the last 2 games against Wareham and Catuit, and Garrett Cave with his 2nd straight save of the season.
Boy, and you just love how the offense exploded tonight. Extra bases hits were flying everywhere. And then the bullpen, absolutely fantastic after 3 2/3 of an inning from House today. he gave a good He gave a good outing as the starting pitcher. He'll move into the bullpen after tonight, but again, the bullpen coming in clutch for Hyannis, and Garrett Cave finding himself getting that second straight save. That's big.
Hyannis will move to 3-7 on the season. The Bourne Braves fall to 6-4, as Hyannis has seen now everything starting to click for them on both ends here, and they showed that once again tonight. Jack getting 5 runs well on 10 hits.
Yeah, and again, extra base hits were the biggest thing tonight. You saw them score 2 with 2 outs after a Bourne pitcher walked a batter with 2 outs in the inning, and then extra base hits. That's what it was all about tonight for Hyannis. And how big is that, with vibes soaring through the roof with 3 straight wins after a tough opening start to the season, and headed into a day off, a good break. This team will get a rest, and it'll be good for them to rest and recuperate on this day off. They've got a big schedule ahead of them, as they will come back home against Wareham and then away against a very good Brewster team who has been hot as of late, one of the best hitting teams on the Cape this season so far. Wareham, Brewster, and then Katuitt, and then Wareham again on Saturday night. They got a lot of baseball ahead of them, a lot of good teams to play, and it's clicking right now, Gabe.
Wareham, a team that they have already met once before, so they will prepare for them. Brewster, a team that they have not seen yet, but Hyannis will have the day off tomorrow to await that one. Your final score here from McKeon Park, 5-2, the Hard Rocks beat the Bourne Braves. For my broadcast partner, Jack Heffer, I'm Gabe Sussick. We hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been listening to Hard Rock Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.